came to power and started invading other countries in Europe. But the point is to show you, life was pretty normal. Life was pretty much like what you guys have here in Brighton or from surrounding communities. So here's just a picture taken from the 30s of a teacher, with his students. Could be any middle school. Maybe that's elementary, but any school. So if you have brown eyes, you can't live where you live right now. You got to go somewhere else. So we set aside an area for you. Maybe it's like between Market Street and Arlington Street. There's an area that's walled off, and there's some homes there. So you have like a few hours, pack your stuff, and that's where you got to go live. I mean, it was that weird and that strange, as like in my parents came from this town here. Actually, it was a city with 60,000 people. So it was a town called Grodno. It was part of Poland at the time. Traditionally, this is Lithuania, but there was no Lithuania at the time. So Grodno was part of Poland. But the war with Poland, Germany attacked Poland on September 1st, 1939. The war was over very quickly. The Germans were very mechanized. They had tanks, they had machine guns, they had trucks. My father at the time was young. He was 18 or 19, and he had been drafted into the Polish army. And he was in the cavalry. So he had a horse, he had a sword, he had like a rifle that was strapped on his shoulder. The war was over in like 3 or 4 days. He was on his way to the front, but the Polish army was armed for a war of the 1800s, and the Germans were moving forward with tanks and airplanes and dive bombers and machine guns, and so my dad never made it to the front. He may have been killed there, but the war was over, and so he just ditched his uniform and he went back home. So I went back to Brno. So these, when the Nazis would come into towns, they would set up what I described earlier to you, where you set up an area and you say, okay, if you have brown eyes, or if you're Jewish, you got to go live in this area, say between Market Street and Arlington Street. So these are what they were called the ghettos. It's basically an enclosed area. So there was a ghetto in Brno. My parents had less than a day to pack up their stuff, whatever they could carry, and they had to move into the ghetto. The goal of that was to put the Jews in a place where they could be easily counted and commanded, and eventually, the Germans organized transports via the trains to go to concentration camps, where ultimately people would die, either from starvation or if they weren't deemed useful for the war effort, they were killed right away.
Hello, welcome to our public service announcement of the genocide in Darfur. The Darfur genocide occurred in 2003 and still continues today. This started when the Sudanese government attacked the Fur Masali Zaghawa tribes in Darfur. The death toll for Darfur currently today is 400,000 deaths. This continues to be a problem, and we want to change that. So, we want people to know about the genocide in Darfur. So it is very important that all of you know that there are other genocides out there besides the Holocaust. This concludes our public service announcement. Thank you.